I just believe that we've not been taught how to work with our body, and there's so many things that would help so many people if they could learn how their body actually functions and work with it, and learn how to their body's trying to communicate with them. Anytime we don't feel well, anytime we have a pain, your body's trying to tell you something.
Welcome to the Mental Health and Faith, a Closer Look podcast and YouTube show. I'm Carolyn Cooper, and here I hope you will find encouragement for life in this complicated world as we talk about mental health, wellness, our recovery journeys, and living as a Christian with a mental illness, as well as other topics. And I always welcome your comments, questions, and even suggestions for improvement or for additional topics that you'd like to hear. My contact information is in the show notes. So thank you so much for being here and enjoy the episode. Hi, this is Carolyn, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Mental Health and Faith, a Closer Look. Today, I have a very special guest, and she approaches wellness in a little different way than we do when we're talking about strictly mental health. Kristin Wood is a total body wellness coach. She works under the name Kristin W. Wellness, and I am very excited to have her share a little bit today on how our physical health can impact our lives, which impacting our lives includes impacting our mental health. So, Kristin, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Caroline. As you said, I approach wellness and health a little different than most. A lot of times with our health, people think, at least a lot of my clients are with the weight area, and a lot of that is approached through what you're eating, how much you're moving, and I like to approach it a little more from the mental side and the mindset side.
Okay.
I'm excited to share with your audience today.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a statement that I'm going to read, and then I want to get your what you think about this.
Okay.
Would you agree with the statement that mental health is impacted by our physical health? And if so, how?
Well, I would agree 100%. And, I'm going to give you a how that is real to my life right now. Mm-hmm. I like to think of myself as a fairly healthy person. Mm-hmm. I've determined the actions that I want to be consistent with that make me feel the best and allow me to interact with the world at my best. But I got sick. Oh. And once, it hit me hard. And I have noticed that every time I don't feel good, I don't think good. And it doesn't take long, after a couple of days of being sick and not doing the things that I normally, my normal routine of just business things, I started feeling like, okay, maybe I am a fraud at this health coaching thing because I'm sick. Mm-hmm. And I had to be like, I did the catch it and check it. And I'm like, no, that's BS. Mm-hmm. I do know what makes me feel good, and I do show up consistently for it, and I do support clients in doing the same. I just got sick. But I can, it's really staying on top of the thoughts that want to come in when you're not feeling well. And I know this is going to pass. I am feeling much better, and I'm going to continue to feel better. But for the people that are letting themselves identify with their sickness and let it take hold, it can start to have a dramatic impact, that they're not feeling well. That's going to impact them physically as well as mentally.
What types of things do you do with your clients to help them find kind of a balance?
Well, I'm a big advocate for journaling.
Okay.
And journaling more from a sense of dreaming about what you want versus just, recalling what has happened, but journaling about what you want to happen.
Okay.
Where you maybe sit down in the morning and how do you want your day to go? And it, it'd be nice if Publishers Clearinghouse showed up on your doorstep, but it also would be nice, maybe I want to see a rainbow today. Maybe I want to stop and smell the flowers somewhere. Maybe I want to have a delicious dinner.
For me, it's maybe I just need to stop and take a break.
Yeah.
I want to take a lunch break today. Maybe it's even something as simple as that, to work something into your day for your wellness.
Yeah. And certainly taking a 5-minute break to clear your head and breathe, that is for your wellness.
Yes.
That is for your mental and your physical wellness. And so many people forget to breathe. They just are in this keep us alive breath that we do. And we're not really deep breathing. So if you can give yourself 5 minutes a day to stop and breathe, everything inside of you gets that breath and gets to start working a little more the way it was designed.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to say God did a really good job on this design that we've got.
For our bodies.
We just don't work with it. We spend so much time working against our body that that 5 minutes to breathe is just 5 minutes that you're going to be working with your body for a change.
Working with our body. I love that idea that that's something that can be a real issue for people. And I'm sure people are out there are like me and had never thought of it in those terms before, not working with my body. So you said, kind of going back, you said that journaling is something you like to do to help people start kind of maybe repairing some thoughts or focusing on what they want for their life or what they want just for that day. And what other kinds of things do you do?
Well, I was thinking specifically for your group that is more mentally focused.
Yes.
There are so many different feelings and emotions, and we get so stuck that the ideal is that we're happy, that we're glad, that we're bubbly, and we get so focused on the right emotions are all the good ones. But if we didn't have the bad ones, we wouldn't even know about the good ones. You have to have both, and letting people know that it's okay to have both sides of the emotions. They're all there for us to feel and to teach us something. And it's okay if you have a negative thought, if you have a sad thought, if you're upset, that's okay. What it's telling you something. So listening for the real message there, but not making yourself wrong because of the thoughts that you're having, that you can have that thought. Okay, well, that's showing me that is there. I do prefer to have this thought or to have this feeling. And what can you do to move yourself back? But not making yourself wrong for having specific thoughts and feelings that maybe society has said isn't right.
I really can relate to this, because one of the things that I've had to work on for me, and I know other people in my life don't have as easy of a time expressing emotions in a healthy way. I think the first step to being able to learn to express yourself in a healthy way is to be able to identify what it is you're feeling to begin with.
Right.
So,
You're so right.
so like what you were saying, I mean, identify how you're feeling and remember that the feeling itself is not right or wrong. It's just a feeling that you have.
Right.
So I really appreciated that.
And a fun thing that I like to do with clients is, if you're having this thought and you don't like it, or this feeling or this emotion and you don't like it, name the one that you'd rather have. We have such a limited vocabulary on what we allow ourselves to think about. So, like, there's Google, it's got all kinds of information. So, go find a new way to express how you want to feel, a new word for it, and start feeling that. Because once you pick a new word, it's just automatically, it's kind of like you think about buying a red car and you start seeing red cars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you start thinking that you want to feel stupendous, all of a sudden you're going to start noticing that feeling more.
Okay. I really like that idea of identifying where you want to be and how you want to feel. And it's kind of like practicing.
It is.
It's kind of like the, even if you don't actually feel that way, kind of maybe pretend you feel that way at first until you get there. Is it kind of like-
and do you ever play around with like mental rehearsals? Like sports players, when they're getting ready to go out and play a sport, they may rehearse the whole game in their head before they step on the field.
Okay.
And know what they, see themselves playing it, feel themselves playing it. So if you want to feel a way, but you really don't know what that would feel like, just kind of rehearse it in your mind. What would it feel like if I felt stupendous? What would I be doing? What would my face look like? Kind of feel yourself in that.
Kristin, I want to go back to the physical health side of things. So everything we've said today is fantastic, and it really does relate to your mental health, and I know that helps your body. But let's kind of approach it now from the physical side of things. What can I do physically to help my mental health?
The breathing,
my body in general, I guess.
Yeah. The breathing is something that is going to help your physical as well as mental. Okay. I do encourage clients to work up to giving themselves a 20-minute meal. We race through our day and we race through our meals, but our body really, it's scientifically proven we need this 20 minutes for our meal so that we can digest it properly. Okay. And if anybody sits down to time themselves eating their meal tonight and they find that they have finished their meal in 2 minutes, don't feel bad. Just start adding a minute or two every day. And one of the ways you can do that is through breathing. In between bites, take a breath. Let your, inside our intestines, we've got these little finger things that move the food along, but the fingers need air. And if they're not getting oxygen, they're just laying flat and the food isn't moving through correctly. So if we take a breath in between bites, give our body the air that it needs to work the way that it was designed to work, that's going to help how we feel after the meal. And just getting that extra oxygen in is going to be great. And chewing your food will help lengthen your meal.
It's interesting because I expected the chewing thing to be right away, the first thing you said. And I also thought, well, maybe you're going to mention have conversation with people or other things.
Oh,
But
yeah.
all of those are good. But I have never had anyone ever explain to me the importance of breathing while you're eating, because that helps your body
Yeah.
actually go through that digestive process.
Yes.
I've never heard that before. And
No,
that's huge. No wonder
there's
people have
so
so
many
many
things
gut
about our
problems.
body that
Mm-hmm.
we didn't get taught in school.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To breathe and to chew your food is
Okay.
going to help your gut and your digestion a lot. If you have indigestion,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help with the acid reflux, and all those little things are things that make you don't not feel great, which when we don't feel
Mm-hmm.
great, we start not thinking great.
Mm-hmm. Very good. How does approaching your mindset help with the whole body wellness?
Well, I believe that we are connected, mind, body, and soul. And whatever you are thinking about and telling yourself is exactly what you're going to get.
Mm.
And often we don't acknowledge that our thoughts are driving the way our life is turning out for us. And so many people are critical when they talk to themselves, and that those critical little comments that nobody else is hearing, well, your body and your soul is hearing that, and that's the map that it's taking on deciding what you want. So I like to help clients focus on what do you want? Are you really asking for what you want? Because if you're not happy with what you have, obviously
Mm.
we need to change that conversation.
That's a really good point, that it's kind of a conversation with yourself that really you're talking about. And I sometimes think of it as we lie to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Because I know I've told myself before, I'm not good enough looking, I tell myself all kinds of things. I'm definitely overweight. You bombard yourself with these thoughts and negative thoughts about your body and your
Yeah.
self-image. And that's going to be really damaging to a person.
It can be, because it is a lie. And I'm sure one of the things I like to ask clients to do when they make those comments that, I'm just not good enough. Well, can you think back to any one time in your life where you were good enough? Was there one time? If there's one time, then you can't say that you're not.
Okay.
You are lying to yourself, because you've already proven that, oh yeah, and this one thing I was good enough. And it's looking back and finding the evidence that you are lying to yourself. And what is the better story? What story makes you feel better to feel, to think about? You get to choose your thoughts. So think about the story that makes you feel better. And if they're all just stories, make that, you get to make the story up.
Well, Kristin, I think our time is winding down a little bit. And I just want to give you a chance, if there's anything else that you want to share about your services or your beliefs in the importance of this.
Well, I just believe that we've not been taught how to work with our body, and there's so many things that would help so many people if they, that they could learn how their body actually functions and work with it, and learn how to their body's trying to communicate with them. Anytime we don't feel well, anytime we have a pain, your body's trying to tell you something. And too often we just throw a pill at it or a band-aid of some sort and don't listen to it. And how would you react if someone just, every time you made a request, they shoved you in the corner? you quit making requests.
Oh, yes.
And
Oh, wow.
so it's learning. I'm just really passionate about helping people learn how to recognize how their body's trying to speak to them
Okay.
so that they can feel better
Okay.
and live. I mean, when we feel better, we live better.
Do you have a YouTube program?
Do. So if you, and maybe you'll put my YouTube
Yes,
channel
I will
link
do
out
that.
there for them.
Yes.
They can also go to my website, and from my website, there's the YouTube icon that will take them there.
Okay.
But I do have a YouTube channel, and I am pretty good about most weeks putting out a kiss from Kristin. It's a keep it super simple tip, and feel free to binge.
I love it. Thank you again. God bless you for your work that you're doing. And maybe we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. This is Carolyn Cooper with In God's Corner Ministry. Please subscribe and be a regular participant in these shows. I would love to hear your comments, questions, and suggestions. You'll find my email and other information in the show notes. Have a blessed day. Again, thank you for joining me.